Have you ever thought about how a mass of neurons and cells can create such an emotional and complicated being like yourself? For example, have you ever thought about how the sadness you experience when your dog dies is really just a release of chemicals inside your head? Today I'm going to talk to you about a new branch in psychology called neuropsychoanalysis. Now I know this is a big word, but pay attention because neuropsychoanalysis can help you better understand your own emotions and behaviors, as well as the emotions and behaviors of those around you, like, for example, your significant other. Maybe some of you men will walk out of this classroom today with a better understanding of the infamous question, what is really going on inside my girlfriend's head? In order for you to understand what neuropsychoanalysis is, we must understand that it's broken up into two different parts. It's important that you understand each part separately as well as how they're combined in order to create neuropsychoanalysis. The first part of neuropsychoanalysis is psychoanalysis. Psychoanalysis is the study of the subconscious mind and how it affects human behavior. Journalist Kate McGowan tells us in Discover Magazine's April 2014 edition that psychoanalysis was invented by Sigmund Freud in the late 1890s. Freud's basic goal in psychoanalysis was to uncover the mystery of the subconscious mind. Your subconscious mind is what makes you tick. It's what motivates you and describes who you really are. It defines your likes and your dislikes, and it's what creates your fears. Psychoanalysis is used to diagnose many different types of mental illnesses. In the International Journal of Psychoanalysis of 2015, Thomas Lapout describes ways in which therapists use psychoanalysis to diagnose their patients. I will break this down for you in 3 different steps. First, therapists will question their patients. They'll ask them about their likes and their dislikes, their fears and their motivations, and previous life experiences. Next, they'll examine their patients' answers and form a diagnosis based on what they've said. Finally, they will confirm this diagnosis by consulting diagnostic manuals and through further investigation of their patients. In Discover Magazine's previously cited article, McGowan lists 2 major criticisms of psychoanalysis. The first is that many scientists feel that things such as feelings and emotions are too arbitrary to be studied scientifically. Secondly, critics point out that Freud offers very little evidence that your subconscious mind even exists. Now that we've talked about the basics of psychoanalysis, let's discuss neurobiology, which is the second half of neuropsychoanalysis. Neurobiology, previously cited Kate McGowan tells us that neurobiology is the study of how physical elements in your brain, such as neurons and chemicals, function together in order to affect your behavior. Neurobiology focuses only on things that can be observed and measured inside your brain. Neurobiology is the study of neurons and how they use electrical impulses in order to tell your body what to do. Things such as breathing, pumping blood, and releasing hormones are all affected by these electrical impulses. Carol Sigelman, author of many psychology textbooks, describes the process of how neurobiologists diagnose their patients with mental illnesses. In her newest textbook, Lifespan Development, published earlier this year. I'll break this process down for you in 2 simple steps. Firstly, neurobiologists will use different forms of brain scanning, such as CAT scanning, fMRIs, MRIs, and SPECT scanning. Each of these is used for a specific purpose, and neurobiologists will choose which ones they want to use based on what they want to see inside your brain. Next, neurobiologists will send you to a psychiatrist who will look at you and diagnose you based on what they see in your brain scan. Then they will prescribe you medication in order to fix the problems inside your brain. Sigelman also tells us the major criticism that this form of diagnosis has come under. The biggest form of criticism is from people who oppose big pharmaceutical companies, claiming that neurobiologists often overprescribe medication in order to make more money. Now that we've talked about both neurobiology and psychoanalysis, let's discuss how they've been combined together in order to create this new approach. If you'll remember back to the beginning of my speech, McGowan tells us that neuropsychoanalysis combines the study of the subconscious mind with the study of the physical brain. First, I'll explain to you what neuropsychoanalysis attempts to do. Neuropsychoanalysis' goal is to put the study of the mind back into the study of the brain. In recent years, the dominating technique in psychology has been neurobiology, but according to McGowan, many people are realizing the importance of the fact that humans are made up of more than just what is seen. Neuropsychoanalysis is important because its attempts to accomplish this goal lead to more accurate diagnosis of mental illnesses. The only major criticism that has yet arisen against neuropsychoanalysis, as McGowan points out, is that the humans are inaccurate at identifying their emotions. This ambiguity can potentially lead to inaccurate diagnosis through neuropsychoanalysis. So today I've talked about psychoanalysis, neurobiology, and how they've been combined to create neuropsychoanalysis. The study of neuropsychoanalysis is important because of the dire need for accurate diagnoses and treatment for mental illnesses. It's also important to those of us living regular lives because it helps us better understand our behavior. Eric Kandel, a Nobel Prize winner and professor at Columbia University, says, "You can't have a meaningful science of the brain without a meaningful science of the mind."